Hello, wonderful being. Thank you very much for being here. As you know, we laid out the remembrance sign into the woods where many trees have been cut down. I promised you I will share a brief video with insights of what touches my heart so much. Maybe next time you go into the woods, you consider some of this, or maybe you just send some crystalline heart love into such a sight or when you see something similar. So let's begin. So let's begin with this grandfather. Such big trees are considered the grandparents of the woods. They are connected, I will come to that, with their root system. And here you can see him crying with the resin. They're being called as the tears of a tree. Also, it's producing that to heal the wounds. This is showing a little bit something about the families that they are building within the woods. They are usually growing in circles. They connect via their root system. And they're like little siblings, and it grows until the grandparents. It has been proven that they have a very, very distinct root system where they communicate, they warn, they talk about what's coming, and so on and so forth. So if trees are being cut out of such a circle or a family, then that's really a sad situation, and that touches my heart very, very much. As we show other pictures, you can see these circles of families also in the background or within the picture, as I might talk about something else. With this next image, you see roots sticking out the earth after heavy machines have been driving over the earth. It harms the ground, as you can see the traces with this and the upcoming images. The ground does not recover very fast as the machines are way too heavy. Some plants can't even regrow or come back. Some plants decide not to come here anymore because the ground is too dense now. Because of the heavy machine, they pressed the ground, the soil together. You can also see with some of these images how even from last year or 2 years ago, not all of this is fresh. Some of this has begun I think 1 or 2 years ago, where the ground, the soil has not recovered yet. The moss, of course, will not regrow because now it's too light, too much sun comes through, and it will die. It might come through when there is a long period of humidity, but otherwise, and I think in the long term, it will probably completely die. These two images I only show so we have compassion with these roots and its trees. This is another grandparent showing a completely healthy tree that has been cut. This is a very interesting image as it shows ants at work. Ants are very, very intelligent. They always build their piles where they know or sense that something needs to be harmonized or equaled out. So here it can be because of water underneath it, a water vein, but it can also be because they feel this tree really needs support and they want to make the soil better again for this tree, as a little sibling has been taken away, as you can see, and they might sense the grief and the sadness of the parent. It's very important to me that we are not going into this grief. It's very important to me that we are doing something about it, that we are transforming it back into nourishment, back into looking forward. What can we do? How can we transform ourselves? This is one of the reasons why we laid out the Remembrance Sign, to nourish the woods, to nourish the trees, the birds, who now, of course, have much less room to spread, and all the deer and everything, but we nourish them with the Remembrance Sign. When they cut corridors like this, the wind goes through much easier. In fact, when there is a storm, there is no protection anymore, like for these trees, or the wind is going like I pointed the arrows, and these trees are not protected anymore, so they fall with the next big storm. This happened more than once last summer. In one place I made a video about it and played the flute for the tree. This is interesting as only part of the tree was taken away, and that little guy, who was a child again, of course, answers with the sun shining into the woods. That's how I perceive it. Yeah, with this image, I would like to show how crazy this is, because they are planting trees again, but not needle trees anymore, but deciduous trees. So, no comment. My dear doggy Calimero, looking motioned himself. He's a very sensitive doggy, and he very often goes and nourishes what needs to be nourished. And here another grandfather, where we laid out the Remembrance Sign too. So he was also ready for us to start. Thank you, Calimero, at this point, because you're so patient and your energy is so beautiful, and your backup, your dedication, your devotion is so, so appreciated. Thank you, my dear four-legged friend, my best friend ever. So thank you very much for staying all the way until here. Thank you very much for walking on your path. And with this last image, I would like to give you a first insight on how the finished Remembrance Sign looks like, with our next video, I will take you along in just a part and a brief journey around the Remembrance Sign. And it so happened that, yeah, it was part of the initiation process, because it just felt like this, that you who now watches this video are along. And also, at the end, when we had our things packed and walked away, there was a crowd answering our doing, our co-creation. That was so heart-touching, and I share you some of it, a part of it. It was so beautiful. Enjoy and see you soon. Ciao.